Good morning, everybody. How is everybody today? I'm going to invite you to stand up. I love that. Yay! Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Okay, everybody, let me hear you. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. Get up now. See the light. Everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Oh, let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. Get up now. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. John the Patty. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Good morning, everybody. Everybody good today? It's nice and chilly, isn't it? Do you like the chill in the air? Who said no? You don't? I love it. It's just this. So you've had enough chill for a lifetime. Yeah, Kevin's from Rochester. He also has had enough. He said we never need to see snow again. That we have to shovel. So everybody's good. Well, good morning. Welcome to the Global 2 Center. We come together every Sunday as a spiritual community to do one thing and one thing only. What is that? Lovely. So I'm going to say, is anybody here for the first time today besides you? So you can stand. Just yeah. They never tell their friends because then they won't come. No. We just like to know, just like this. So your name is Suzanne. Yeah. Right, and what do you do? What did you do? What are you doing?
Well, that's a long story, but I moved here during the pandemic. I sang at the Metropolitan Opera in their professional chorus for 25 years, and I came here because everything closed down for a year and a half, and my parents needed help out here, so I moved out here and decided to stay. My father passed away, and my mother is alone, so I'm helping with her, and I'm teaching voice, and I'm teaching this lovely lady.
To sing even better than you already do? Good. That's so exciting. 25 years at the Metro. No, you got to stay up. You got a job now.
No.
You're gonna hear something, and I'm gonna ask you what you hear. Ready? Do not scream in her ear. So I say we come together every Sunday as a spiritual community to do one thing and one thing only. What is that? No, right where I... Suzanne?
I really couldn't hear it. He said coffee and donuts.
They're saying that right where I am, God is, right? Whether it's in the center of the Metropolitan Opera House or sitting in that chair right there, you are bringing God everywhere you go. How's that sound?
I know it.
Good for you. Well, we have a gift for you too. If you go to the desk afterwards, and you can see it right there from your side, it's my book, Mental Muscle. Just go, son. And my husband already gave it to you. He's so fast. Yeah, he's quick. So there you go. Thank you for joining us today. We also, yeah. That was everybody, right? You guys have been here before, so you don't get to stand up this time. So we also remind ourselves every Sunday of our vision statement. And why do we do that? Because I think we can forget it easily throughout the week. Did anybody forget to love only this week at all? Oh, no. Really? No one's raising their hands. They're all like, yeah. Did anyone forget that they were to forgive everything this week? This side's perfect, just so you know. And did anybody forget who they were this week at all? Stan, that was so funny. Stan's like, yes! So, our vision statement is something we just remind ourselves each week, which means to love only, forgive everything, and to remember who you are. So take a deep breath. When I drove up here today, I was overcome by some memories and some thoughts. And I realized how many of my rough edges have been smoothed. There's still a few left that I'm working on. Yeah, I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. And days like this, moments like this, fellowship like this, is really the biggest tool in the smoothing out of the rough edges. So just take a deep breath. Just let these words. Rolling river God, little stones so smooth, but only once the water rushes through. And so I am a stone, rough and grainy still, trying to reconcile this water's chill. But when I close my eyes and see you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be just one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hand. Sometimes raging wild, and sometimes a swollen high, but never have I known this river dry. The deepest part of you is where I long to stay and feel those roughest edges wash away. But when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be just one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hand, rolling river God, little stones so smooth, but only once the water rushes through. Take a deep breath and let it out. Thank you, ladies. So I'd like to know right now that your roughest edges just got smoothed out. How do you feel? Good? Peaceful? Blissful? Quiet? Calm? I'm about to change all of that for you. Because I'm going to invite up Stephen Brabrand.
A little early this morning.
So how are you doing?
I was doing just fine. Thank you, James.
No, you are one of my favorite Sunday guests.
Really?
Truly.
You have a way of showing it, don't you?
That was a great introduction.
It was.
I let them know they're going to laugh. They're going to... It's just like better than Cats.
Yeah, it is. It is.
The musical, not Cats. So what's our theme this month? Obviously, you just said it.
Your gratitude.
Gratitude. So how's that working out for you?
You know, it's... well, certainly this time of year, it's an easy fit in terms of the seasons and everything. But I've done a lot of thinking about it, and actually more than thinking, putting some things into practice. And I would say to people who, particularly who are online today, or those in the audience who didn't see Dr. James and Dr. Jim's interaction last week on the subject of gratitude, it's worth going into the vault and listening to what the two of them had to say. It was very powerful. But that really got me thinking, and here's kind of where I am. So we're in this season, and we're supposed to be happy. Well, seriously.
I don't know where it says that, but okay.
Yeah, okay. But if we're to talk truth here, without being morbid, it really is a time, well, Charles Dickens had a line I'm going to change a little bit, where in our community, for some it's the best of times, and for some it's the worst of times.
Right.
And as a minister, I've heard this from so many ministers over the years. This is one of the most difficult times of years because of the people that you have to counsel and things that come up for people. And that's where I think gratitude is so powerful and so important. Two things come to my mind, especially with older people, is depression and bitterness. And if you take gratitude as an action verb, it dispels so much of that, especially the bitterness. You can't be bitter if you're practicing gratitude,
Right.
if you're out doing something. And that, I'm not going to tell anyone in this audience what that something needs to be, but if you are practicing gratitude, doing things in your community, depression and bitterness are pushed aside.
Yeah.
And I don't know last week if it was you or Dr. Jim, but one of you mentioned that, okay, sounds good when we're staying on stage talking about this, but when you got something going in your life and you don't feel, like that's the place to be, that's when you really need to kind of step into it.
Yeah.
And whether it's faith or simply practice over the years, something good is unfolding. And it just changes for me, just speaking for myself personally, it just changes my mood, it changes the way I attract things if I will express gratitude and come from a place of doing things with this attitude of gratitude.
That was great. And you know what? The only reason why I didn't comment on any of it is because if I commented, I'm giving my talk.
Okay, all right.
Everything you're talking about. No, it's right. And your wife this morning in her meditation,
Yes.
that last
Yeah,
quote.
quote.
Did you hand me that
Kennedy?
quote? Do you have
Yeah.
it from John F. Kennedy? She gave this beautiful quote this morning, and it just really spoke to me. There you go. That's it. They say asking a woman to find something in her purse is really not nice. Okay, so that was Ralph Waldo Emerson, and the one on John F. Kennedy was... Yeah, great. So... The most important thing is to try and inspire people so that they can be great at whatever they do. No, this is a different one. That's Thoreau. Oh, I got it. Here we go. And I'm grateful for that. As we express our attitude, our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not with words,
Right.
but to live them. So it's one thing to say thank you. It's another thing to show it.
Yep.
It's another thing to live gratitude.
Yes.
And that's what we were talking about last week. Thank you, Diane. And that's what we were talking about, Jim and I were talking about last week. It's so easy to get up here and talk about gratitude, but then I walk outside this door, and what am I doing?
Right.
Where am I going with
Right.
it? And it's funny you say that about this time of year being, there's a lot of people that this time, well, myself, my daughter passed away on Thanksgiving weekend.
Right.
So, it's a rough time, and yet it's a contemplative time, and I do what I do with it. So yeah, you're right. But Mother Teresa said we cannot love and hate at the same time.
Yeah.
And if I were Mother Teresa, I'd like to put words into her mouth. I'd love to hear Mother Teresa say, you cannot love and hate at the same time. So pick one.
Yeah. Have you tried that expression out on your husband, Kevin?
You cannot love or hate at the same time?
time.
He is nothing but love.
Yeah.
He shows it in different ways.
Yes, it does.
But he is nothing but love. Love only.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you. You're such a wise man. No, but you really are.
Yeah.
I mean, you really are. You whenever you open your mouth to say something that you're really thinking about, you have pearls of wisdom that come out of you all the time.
I'm going to quote that to my wife sometime.
She's sitting right there. She heard me say it.
Yeah, she heard you say it.
Yep. So do you want to lead us in our affirmation?
Certainly. I'm going to say it once, and then we all get to say it with gratitude. Twice?
Whatever. You're in charge.
Okay, once. We'll say it once, really, but say it like we really mean it. So let me go through it once. I bask in a sea of gratitude as my life is blessed to overflowing. So let's say this together. I bask
in a sea of gratitude as my life is blessed to overflowing.
Thank
You
you.
feel good? Steve Brabant. Okay, everybody. I have a real treat for you today. Mindy Schinnerer has brought us a song that has a gazillion words in it, so you really need to listen. But I watched her in rehearsal, and I literally had to step aside because it's just wonderful. Mindy Schinnerer.
There were a lot of tears I had to cry through. A lot of battles left me battered and bruised. I was shattered, had my heart ripped in two. I was broken, I was broken. There were a lot of times I stumbled and crashed when I was on the edge down to my last chance. So many times that I was so convinced that I was over, I was over. But I had to fall, yeah, to rise above it all. I'm grateful for the storm, made me appreciate the sun. I'm grateful for the wrong ones, made me appreciate the right ones. I'm grateful for the pain, for everything that made me break. I'm grateful for all my scars, 'cause I'm happy for my heart made me grateful, 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 grateful. I was sinking, I was drowning in doubt. The weight of all the pain was weighing me down. Pulled it together and I pulled myself out. Learned a lesson, learned a lesson. Oh, there's a lot you gotta go through, hell yes. But that's what got me strong, there's no regrets. And I've got only love, got no bitterness. Count my blessings, count my blessings. I'm proud of every tear, yeah, 'cause they brought me here. I'm grateful for the storm, made me appreciate the sun. I'm grateful for those wrong ones, made me appreciate the right ones. I'm grateful for the pain, for everything that made me break. I'm thankful for all my scars, 'cause they only make my heart grateful, 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 grateful. There is nothing I would change, not even one mistake I've made. I got lost, found myself, found my way. Grateful for the storm, made me appreciate the sun. I'm grateful for the wrong ones, made me appreciate the right one. Grateful for the pain, everything that made me break. I'm grateful for the wrong ones, I'm grateful for the wrong ones. They make me so grateful, 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 grateful.
Wow. So, I'm going to start with the title of my talk. The title of my talk today is Perspectives. And when you listen to all those lyrics, when I hear a line like, I'm grateful for everything that's happened, and I wouldn't change any of it. That's hard for me to say that. And yet I get it. I get it on a quantum level. I may not get it on a relative level,
in my relative sphere of living, my body, my mind, me being in the world. But I get it on a quantum level. And so the question becomes, how do you take what you get in theory, as Stephen was saying, and move it into action, as Diane was saying? How do you get all this stuff that we teach and what we know and understand? How do you get it intellectually? And how do you move that into the experiential of it, to embodying it? That's really what this is all about. Have you ever heard the term, has anyone ever said to you that you see the world through rose-colored glasses? Of course not, Tiffany. I'm sure no one has ever said that to you. Joe, people probably say that about you. I mean, you did play Mickey Mouse for a long time. Yeah, exactly. So I want you to think about that for a second. Yeah, Giacomo, do you even know what that means? Okay, good. I don't know how to say it in Italian. Seeing the world through rose-colored glasses. I've been accused of that. But you know what else? This philosophy, this teaching gets accused of that. And I was just accused of that the other day. Being a minister who only sees the good. And I was like, and this is a problem? And they said, yeah, it is, because you see the world through rose-colored glasses, but that's not what the world is. And and at the moment, I was just not in the mood. Have you ever had one of those, how many ministers out there just were not in the mood to have a spiritual conversation with someone who clearly doesn't want to have a spiritual conversation? They just want to tell you how wrong you are. So once I assessed that, I just got in there and let it out. I just let out what I needed to say. And I was like, you know what? I do not see the world through rose-colored glasses. I see the world as it is, and then I realize that the world has been created by people, nothing else, by people making decisions that they make, creating the world the way they create it, and when I step back, I know there's a truth behind that. So if that's your idea of seeing the world through rose-colored glasses, sign me up. Because that's how I want to see the world. But it doesn't mean, and this is what's really important, we teach you should only look at the good. But that's not really you should only look at good things happening. It means you should only see the good in what you're looking at, as hard as it is. And to even know when you can't see the good, when it's so impossible to see the good, to make sure that there is a part of you, an authentic part of you, that even if you can't see it, you know it's there. That's seeing the world through truth, spiritual truth. You can call it rose-colored glasses. That sounds fun. But that's our job. So it's not that as we go through this month of gratitude, we should just be grateful for everything. We actually should understand that inherent in everything is something to be grateful for. That's very different than walking around in La La Land saying, I'm happy for all of it. It's all good. It's all good. It's all God. I've told you the story about my house falling down during the Northridge earthquake when we had a religious scientist as our landlord, and all she kept saying was, our house fell down. The wall fell down. Kevin and I had no walls. We put up a sheet and all of our things. And she's just like, it's all good. It's all God. God will handle it. God will handle it. And it was like, but that's still down. The wall's down. I don't know which God is handling this. I said, we go to the same church. God doesn't handle it. People handle it. And she goes, no, you just have to trust God will handle it. And then I handled it because I'm God. Clearly, now I can say that way. At the time, I just handled it. I was like, you know what, Rose? Of course, they're always named Rose. Rose-colored glasses. Oh, my God. Good night. Thank you. It was a great talk. It was like, no. Through me. As me, not wait around for it. So, only look at the good, that gets a bad rap, because some people think that there's nothing, that they don't get to look at what's going on in their lives. They're not real. They don't get down to it and say, this is going on. I need to look at this. I need to look at this from my rose-colored glasses, from spiritual truth, because now I'm going to move it. I'm going to change it. So yeah, can I give gratitude for everything that happened in my life? It's a tall order if I talk about losing my child. That's a tall order. Can I stand back and find the good in it? Moments of good? Yes, I can. Can I also find moments of absolute despair in it? Yes, I can. Now, can I find moments of good in the despair? Or am I just going to stop at despair and say, nope, this is how I feel, and this is how it feels to lose a child? No, I'm not. Because I want to do the work, to step back and say, okay, you feel awful. But what's there? What else is in there? And I got to tell you, that I hear all the time Nora talking to me, telling me to grow a pair, constantly. I mean, it was her little thing that she would say to me all the time. Not so parental, but she would say it. If I'd be like, God, that just makes me so sad. Oh, grow a pair. And so I hear that. I'm like, where is the good in this? And you hear grow a pair, and you're like, all right, thanks, got it. Yeah. The other thing Ernest Holmes said was, turn away from the conditions. Now, most practitioners know I literally am emphatic about this. Ernest Holmes did not say turn away from the conditions. He did not say walk around with blinders on and pretend everything is perfect. He said, once you see what's going on, turn away from the conditions and know the truth about it. But first, see it. You can't change what you don't recognize. You cannot deal with the things in your life if you don't identify the things in your life as things that you must look at and deal with. Bless you. Everybody get that? So it's not seeing the world through rose-colored glasses. It is all about your perspective of life. If your perspective of life is that whatever's going on gets your attention, then you're living, Audrey, a reactionary life. But if your perspective is that there is good in everything for me to be grateful for, and that's your perspective on life, now you're living from that perspective. And you start seeing what there is to be seen. So, you, every one of you, are the final word on your life. Do you know that? Shaking heads would be good. Do you know that you're the final word on your life? Nobody else. Nothing else. I don't care what's happening in your life, you are the final word on your life. How it's going to unfold, how it's going to manifest, who you're going to bring into your sphere, who you're going to move out of your sphere. All of it. You are the final word. But the final word that you have is painted by the perspective you've chosen for your life. We also call it your AEP, your already established premise. So I want you to look at what Stephen Hawking said. He said, there's no way to remove the observer, us, from our perceptions of the world. Now, in quantum physics, we talk about the observer effect. And what the observer effect is that there is this energized field, that when this energized field hits this energized field, we call it the observer, this observer moves energy into this and it changes. So that happens in your life constantly. So what Stephen Hawking is saying, there's no way to remove the observer. There is no way for you to move the observer that you are, to remove your observing mind from the energy that you're moving. So it is very important for you to learn and know and understand, as the observer, which you can never not be, as the observer, what perspective do you have on life? Because that perspective is the thing doing the moving. Do you get it? So you're the observer. Only you. You are the only observer in your life, by the way. There's no other observer. There is the universal observer. And certainly if you're willing to tap into that, and I will get into that, that will be a very good experience. But you are the only observer, and your perspective is the only perspective that's moving your life forward. Love me some Stephen Hawking. So question, are you living your truth of life, or are you living your perception of truth? It's a good question. Are you living your perception of what truth is, or are you living truth itself? Are you living from moment to moment, from beat to beat, from experience to experience, from reaction to reaction? Or are you taking the time necessary to back into this field of pure energy so that you're actually coming from that energy, the absolute truth, and then find a way to hover there and live there as you enter the world? So I talked about it earlier. Stephen and I talked about it. It's so easy to get gratitude, but then we have to step out the door, and I have to deal with the world when I leave here. You're in a bubble right now. We're in this beautiful GTC bubble. but then we're going to walk out of this bubble into the world. Can you walk into the world from this sphere, from this higher consciousness of truth? Or is it going to always be through your perception? Well, here's the thing. If you are the universal, bless you, if you are the universal, then the individual gets to exist as the universal. You get to live your life from that truth. You do not have to accept all of the relative truths out here. Not even your own, Julio, right? You don't even have to live by your own perception of it if you're willing to really make a sense, really make a real firm inquiry into, what do I believe about life? What do I believe about all this? Because that's the perception that life is answering you from. So, next quote. The physical world, including our bodies, is a response of the observer. We create our bodies as we create the experience of our world, Deepak Chopra. Your body that you're living in right now, the physical body you're living in, is an exact mirror to the consciousness you have going on. Whatever's happening with your body. Deepak Chopra. The physical world that you're living in is an exact replica of what you're living in mind. And think about it. Very often, we accept what we see in the world. We take it in. We accept it as truth. We accept it as, oh, this is what's going on right now. Yeah, this is what the economy's like right now. And then we start buying into that, and now our economy looks exactly like their economy. And it goes on and on and on. So today, since my talk title is Perspectives, I'm asking you to take a look at the perspective you have about life, your individual life. And I love that Deepak Chopra brings this thing up about my body, my world. My body is mine to design, not just to be like stuck with at a certain age. And I am so over. You know, we had where did I do this? Where did I it was on Mental Muscle. I asked them all to write something down. I think it was Mental Muscle. I asked them to write something down. It was like, what brings you, what upsets you or something, whatever the thing was. And I wrote, getting old. And I was like, I wrote it before I thought about it. And then I shared it before I thought about sharing it. I was like, I just told 60 people that getting old was a problem for me. And then I was like, good, it's about time it came out of the closet, because it's a problem for me. And now I can deal with it. Now I can actually deal with it, because I'm saying, anybody else have a problem with getting old? Just your laughter lets me know. 2 hands, right? So, but then I was like, why do I have a problem getting old? You know, Sandy Palmer told me how old she was yesterday. I forgot, and I was like, whoa, amazing. So you clearly know what you're doing, right? Yes. Hate to put you on the spot there. But I really thought about that, and I was like, okay, you do, that's something you want to look at, or you're just going to let it roll on. And the funny part is, I only have it consciously. I mean, I only have it in my mind, because my body doesn't seem to be noticing. That was a joke. But not really. I mean, really, I'm clear about my body. But this thing about getting older, it's not necessarily about I'm getting older and I'm getting tired, or I'm getting, my body's not adjusting well. It's more of I'm getting older, there's less time for me. I'm getting older, there's less time for me to accomplish what I came here to do. You know, when people say to me, my God, but you've accomplished so much already. And I'm like, have I? Have I really? Does anybody really ever accomplish enough? I don't know. And is accomplishment really what we're going after, or is it expression? And that's what I'm getting clear on. I haven't expressed enough of who I am, my authentic self, my true authentic self, because I still have perspectives I'm living from. And I would rather get rid of all of those perspectives, back it up into this field of pure possibility, and then take on whatever I wanted to take on. I was telling Lisa Carey that I bought a bracelet in Croatia, and it was this beautiful, clearly a woman's bracelet. And I was seeing it, and I was like, God, this is the kind of thing I'd buy Nora if I could. And I was like, but I love it. Why wouldn't I buy it for myself? Why wouldn't I wear this feminine, beautiful bracelet? Because I'm a man, so I bought it. and I wore it for the rest of the trip. And then the bracelet, the thing broke, and I haven't had it on since. But I thought to myself, we have perspectives about our masculinity, our femininity. We have perspectives about I love the younger generation because they're like blowing that out of the water. They are done with all that crap. They're like, don't call me straight, don't call me gay, don't call me bisexual, don't call me, I'm like, what do I call you? How about nothing? How about just loving me? You know, my son, when he said to me, he said, Dad, you keep saying I'm straight. I'm like, well, you haven't given me any reason to think you're not straight. He goes, well, I don't tell you everything. I was like, okay, well, then I won't call you straight anymore. I won't call you anything anymore. You're just my son who is expressing himself. And that works, right? So, we are creating our experience of life, but my question to you today is, from what perspective? So I want to talk about the gift of gratitude. So if you pull up the next slide, gratitude neutralizes your perspective. This is a really important thing to get. When you have a grateful heart, when you drop into just pure gratitude, your perspectives go out the window because gratitude takes over. So when Mother Teresa said, if I just live from love, my life is handled. I don't know how she said it, but something like that. She's right. If I just stay in gratitude, my perspectives are not going to guide me. Gratitude's going to guide me because my perspective is gratitude. It clears away the muck. It's hard to have a grateful heart and be mucky at the same time. So you want to get out of the muck? Start being grateful. It raises your vibration. The gratitude vibration is so high. Do you ever feel like just high when you're like so happy and grateful, Suzanne? Just happy, grateful, and you're like floating on air. That's because the vibration, gratitude's vibration is so high. It's a high level of consciousness. So it activates observation to a high level of consciousness. So what it means is you get into that energy of gratitude, your consciousness raises up, and now you're navigating life from that perspective. Wouldn't you want to live from that perspective more than any other perspective? Show of hands. How many of you would like to live from that perspective of life? Right. So most of us, all of us, would like to live from that. So on Friday night, we did a wine and wisdom at my house. It was by far for me the greatest wine and wisdom we've done, partly because it was my house. No. Partly because, everybody came to me. It was so much better. Partly because I changed up the wisdom part. And I gave out everybody got their own affirmation. And then we all went into the living room, sat in front of the fireplace with our wine, and everybody read their affirmation. But they hadn't read it yet. So we got to see them read it, and we got to see their reaction to it from reading it the first time. And it was great. And then they told us what their feeling was, what they felt from reading it. It was so, so great. The vibration in that room, right, Tiffany? The energy in that room got higher and higher and higher as we went through every one of these quotes. So I brought a couple of the quotes for you. Next. Deepak Chopra. Gratitude opens the door to the power, the wisdom, the creativity of the universe. Everything gets unleashed when you find yourself in a consciousness of gratitude. When you are coming from love and being so grateful to everything that's going on, as he says here, you get wiser. Your creativity, you just start wanting to create. Next one. By Tony Robbins. When you are grateful, fear disappears and abundance appears. Now the funny part of this quote was, everybody picked a quote out of a hat, literally out of a hat. They picked a quote, and the last quote that was read was that one. And the person that read this quote, she opened it, read it, and just burst into hysterics. And I couldn't figure out what quote I gave her that was funny. But she then shared with us, she read the quote, and then she shared with us that just, I think it was a week before or 2 weeks before, she had just quit her job with Tony Robbins. And she was like, of all the quotes for me to pick out, I pick out Tony's quote. And she said, but it made me realize I made the right decision because I went with my heart. So that was fascinating. But I like what he says here. When you're grateful, fear disappears. You can't be grateful and have fear at the same time. Pick one. You're going to pick one. And all you people out there that are constantly telling me, what is that called when you do many things? Multitasking works for you. How many people do like multitasking? I know you do, honey. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. So, really, Stephen? Okay, good. So, multitasking is the enemy of efficiency, and it's a misnomer. It is a misnomer. You cannot multitask. You cannot. Your mind will always focus on one or the other, or the other, or the other. You cannot focus on the two things at the same time. It's impossible. Of course, I say that, and I now realize that I don't believe anything's impossible. But what they tell us, you always are focusing on one of them. So you may be multitasking, but you're doing this, then you're doing this, then you're doing this, so nothing gets your attention. I know I'm not going to talk you out of this. I can't talk him out of this either. Multitasking is the enemy of efficiency. But, what I love this, gratitude. If you are grateful, you cannot be judgmental. Really, Eric? I said that, and he literally went, pfft. Oh my God, I'm killing myself up here to get this point to you. If you are grateful, you cannot. Why, are you sitting there judging me? Yeah. If you are grateful, you cannot be judgmental. You cannot be angry. You cannot be fearful. All of the above. But maybe you can multitask it. You can be grateful and angry and judgmental all at the same time. The law of polarity. And there you go. Okay, moving right along. My next quote is from Ralph Waldo Emerson, interestingly enough, which is the one Diane used this morning. Cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you, and to give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. How many of you have your lists? These are the things I'm grateful for, and these are the people that just drive me insane. Do you have those two lists? Apparently, yeah, Joe does. So what Ralph Waldo Emerson is saying is, it would behoove us to be grateful for all of it. You still get to say highest and furthest. You don't have to have them for dinner, and you don't have to keep bringing up these situations to go through them again. But being grateful for all of it goes back to the other quote, if you are being grateful, you can't be anything else. So imagine if you were just grateful for that stuff that you don't even want to forgive. Does anybody still have things that they just still can't forgive yet? Okay. Someday. Okay, so what if you forgave it? What if all you went to was gratitude? You couldn't be holding the unforgiven if you were in a grateful heart. The unforgiven blocks the heart. That's why forgive everything is up there. The unforgiven is a wall. It's a boundary. It is blocking your good. Financially, unforgiven stuff blocks prosperity. Edwin Gaines has a beautiful book that talks about that, the forgiveness factor. People think that money is money. No, money is never just money. Money is consciousness. Having just done the prosperity workshop yesterday. So money is consciousness. If what you are refusing to forgive, you are putting a block and not letting the flow of life come through. So the next quote is by Eckhart Tolle. He says, acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance. I think we spend way too much time thinking about where we're going as opposed to where am I? Where am I right now? Who am I right now? How do I feel right now? And deal with that. So I love that. And acknowledge what good is already there. And I would like to ask you to try that all this week, especially when you get to Thanksgiving. Acknowledging the good that's there. Every day, notice it. Notice things that you just don't notice most of the time. And this next quote by Khalil Gibran, you pray in your distress and in your need. Would that you might pray also in the fullness of your joy and in your days of abundance. It's so easy to drop to your knees and pray when things are going bad or when you need help. But would that we've developed the spiritual practice of acknowledging all the good. Just imagine what that would do in this month of gratitude, in this week of Thanksgiving. To give gratitude to the friends in your life that means so much to you. To give gratitude to a husband that's been there for 33 years, through the good and the less good. To give gratitude for your health, to give gratitude for your hair, or lack thereof. And that means that too. This is a good time to have had lack of hair, because it's really a good, what's that called? I wasn't even looking at you, Ron, when I said that, but you're the example. It's great, because that's how everybody looks these days. It's like a great look. I know I'm being silly, but I'm kind of being silly for a reason. Gratitude shouldn't be like this, I'm going to be grateful only for that stuff. No, all of it. Yesterday I made 20 lemon cakes, and I never stopped. Kevin was really great. He was my sous chef, so he just kept throwing things at me and cleaning things. He goes,
Multitasking.
I'm laughing inside. And I would like to say he was not multitasking. He was amazingly focused on making the lemon cakes. Were you doing something else I wasn't aware of? No. You were just doing the lemon cakes and drinking. Other than that, unless you think drinking is part of multitasking. Steve, is that what it is?
It doesn't hurt.
Exactly. Okay, my last quote. The miracle, this is the one you had, Kevin. The miracle is not to walk on water. The miracle is to walk on the green earth, dwelling deeply in the present moment and feeling truly alive. Gratitude, you develop a consciousness of gratitude, you are tapping into the universal field of pure creative energy. You operate on the ground from that perspective. All other perspectives have no need to apply. They just don't matter. Your perspective of life is difficult. Oh my God, get rid of it. I don't care if you can prove it with every step of your life. Get rid of it. Life is for me to live. There's my perspective. There is good for me to have. There is my perspective. There are the perspectives. And it says here, if I can tap into who I really am on a global sense, there's my perspective. So this Thanksgiving, I want you to make gratitude the centerpiece of your Thanksgiving celebration this week. And I know we all do that. But I really would love to ask you to take hold of your Thanksgiving dinner and ask your participants to spend some time sharing what they're grateful for. And the reason I ask you that, and I know a lot of people do this, but to do it seriously. Not that it can't be fun and funny, but to really mean what you're saying and say what you're meaning. Because I guarantee you, if you do that before you eat, your digestion is going to be a lot better, because the energy is going to rise. You are going to be sitting in a consciousness of gratitude. So, this last quote by Henry David Thoreau, I am grateful for what I am and what I have. My Thanksgiving is perpetual. So I get that we're celebrating Thanksgiving this week, but maybe we can finally take the idea of Thanksgiving and live it day in and day out. Maybe we can actually start creating a spiritual practice around gratitude to bring ourselves to that sense, that energy of gratitude that takes our consciousness to such a high level. I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And I know I talked about it in the beginning. While this time of year does pose its challenges for Kevin and myself and our son, and for many of our friends, really, I get to stand here and say, I am grateful for everything that has happened in my life. And while I'm sad about certain things, such as my daughter leaving, I'm also grateful for the 19 years I had with her. And every time I go to be upset, or I get caught, I get grabbed, I merely need to go back and be grateful for every moment I had her. And today, the reason why I got caught so quickly, I was driving up here, and all of a sudden the image of Nora laying in the driveway with her hoodie on when I pulled up that Sunday caught me. And it really caught me. And I was driving into the parking lot, and I drove right over where she was laying, and I remember getting out of the car and just saying, "What are you doing? You're laying in the driveway." It was a very funny moment. And then she tackled me and knocked me on the ground and hurt me. It was quite a day. But I thought about all that. And by the time I got out of my car, I had not gotten over it. I had replaced the grief with gratitude. That's what gratitude can do. That's what we should celebrate this Thanksgiving. Our ability to use our minds, as I said to you earlier, you are the only one designing your life. If you design it from gratitude, then you have hired the greatest designer alive ever to design your life. So happy Thanksgiving and design away. Namaste. Thank you. All right, let's take a deep breath. I invite you to take out your Thanksgiving, your contribution. I want to say thank you to everybody online, say thank you to everybody in the room. Last week I explained that we are working diligently to bring our finances into the black for the year, and you people really, really showed up, and I say thank you for that. Keep it coming. And I also want to say a shout out today to Global Truth Center Canada. It's in Toronto, and they've changed their services to Wednesday nights so that they can spend Sundays online with us. So I'm saying hello to all you guys in Toronto. And I'm not going to say happy Thanksgiving because your Thanksgiving was 2 weeks ago. But I know you feel a happy Thanksgiving for us. So everybody take a deep breath, and here we go. Oh, yes, let's say this together. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me how? Multiplied abundantly. Circulate my love right now, I circulate my love.
Circulate my love right now, I circulate my love.
I circulate my love right now, I circulate my love.
Circulate my love right now, I circulate my love.
And it returns to me, multiplied abundantly. I circulate my joy right now, I circulate my joy.
Circulate my joy right now, I circulate my joy.
Circulate my joy right now, I circulate my joy.
Circulate my joy right now, I circulate my joy.
And it returns to me, multiplied abundantly. Circulation, it's across the nation, it's a love vibration.
Around the world and beyond.
I circulate my gifts right now, I circulate my gifts, everybody.
Circulate my gifts right now, I circulate my gifts.
Circulate my gifts right now, I circulate my gifts.
Circulate my gifts right now, I circulate my gifts.
And it returns to me, multiplied abundantly. Circulate, 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 circulate. So, I take this moment right now to go inward and experience that experience of oneness with Spirit, and allow that to circulate through me, allow that to circulate in my community here. And in that moment and in that experience, I just simply give thanks for this opportunity to be here fully present in this moment, to share this with everyone in our community, knowing that we are blessed and that we bless in this circulation
I know this to be true, and I simply acknowledge it by saying together, and so it is.
Circulation, it's across the nation, it's a love vibration
Around the world and beyond. Yeah.
Circulate my love right now, I circulate my love.
Circulate my love right now. I circulate my love.
I circulate my love.
I circulate my love.
And it returns to me, multiply abundantly. Whoa, 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 whoa!
Good morning. It's Sunday, November 20th, and here are your Global Truth Center announcements. Coming up on the calendar, our next exciting classes will begin the week after Thanksgiving on Monday, November 28th and Wednesday, November 30th. Monday's class is with Dr. Lori Savage, and Wednesday's class is with Dr. Liza Marquez. All classes are on Zoom, and you can find out more information on the classes and register on our website. Just go to the classes page. You'll see the link right at the top of our homepage. On Friday, December 2nd, join us for Soul Immersion with Dr. James, Scott Gibb, and Swan Draper. Our November event was packed. You might say it was Lotus Position room only, so make sure to sign up and arrive early for this event. Save the dates of December 17th for holiday caroling at the home of Dr. James and Kevin, and December 24th for our Christmas Eve celebration. Finally, on December 18th, we'll be presenting a Broadway Christmas, our traditional Christmas show featuring holiday music with a Broadway flair. You can purchase your tickets now on our website on the calendar page. You can always find out what's going on by visiting our calendar on the website. To find it easily, just use your cell phone on the QR code you'll see throughout the sanctuary. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you, Thor. Great job. So, the Broadway Christmas, I think, is the first one, right? So, a Broadway Christmas. How many of you have seen a Broadway Christmas? Great. So, it's a romp through all the songs in Broadway shows that deal with Christmas, like We Need a Little Christmas, like Hard Candy Christmas, like, and there's many others. Well, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas is from Meet Me in St. Louis. So join us as we take you on a journey all the way back to the Ziegfeld Follies, all the way through to today. So it's really a fun night of theater. So that's that. And membership. Lisa, would you come up here for a minute? So as you know, we are in our membership drive. I want to reiterate to you all, if your membership is solid and you don't need to change anything, then you don't need to do anything. Lisa?
Thank you. Dr. James asked me to just come up and say a little bit about what tithing means to me. And I wanted to just share that I came into this teaching in 2016 when I was separated from my husband, and I answered an ad that said there was this spiritual community where love only and non-denominational. And through that teaching, I was able to let go of my story and return to my husband, and we celebrate 32 years in a couple months. So I'm just bringing that up because what I felt, and as the first day I was here, they gave me a little book on the Serenity Prayer, which was exactly what I needed to hear. And what I feel like is when I come here, I feel like I'm at home. And when you feel at home, you need to invest in equity in your house. And so I see that as a practice. And I think what's so phenomenal about this center is how you give teaching that brings us together. More, we have the celebrations here on Sunday, but we have classes and offerings and soul immersions and gatherings and all those things that bring love and bring our house, make it stronger. And
it takes us to realize that commitment to each other. We don't redo our kitchen and then stop watering the lawn, you know? I mean, you got to keep putting energies into your home. And so that's where I come from. And I also feel like that this just opens up a place where I can feel more at home in myself. So I'm very thankful for that. And I also tithe on my credit card. So I get points for tithing.
Thank you. You heard it here. Use your credit card, get points. But we are very, very grateful to all of you, and we'd love to encourage more that give weekly or monthly as an automatic giving, because it just really solidifies. We have people, one of our largest donors is in Costa Rica. Am I right? Costa Rica? Where's Mark? Costa Rica. I don't think he's ever stepped foot into this sanctuary, and you'll see him next week. He's done a video to talk about what it means to be a member at large. So when you give automatically, it really lets us know exactly what's coming in. It helps us financially, helps us to be good stewards of the finances that come through this center. Okay, and yes, Christmas Eve service. We're going to have our candlelight Christmas Eve service. I think the family Schinnerer will be here to sing, and I will be here. My son will be here. Kevin, of course, will be here unless he's busy multitasking somewhere else. So it'll be a beautiful, beautiful Christmas Eve service. Bring your friends, bring your family. Just join us and then go out and have your rest of your Christmas Eve. There you go. Okay. Consciousness on Demand today is Julio, and Julio is going to be downstairs in my office. And Reverend Dr. Nancy Berggren is going to be here in the meditation room. So if something came up today and you just have something you want to talk about, go join these people. They're both amazing. Okay, Connie, come on up. You are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Wow. So what happened today? Tell us what happened today. You can take, you know what? Be like your mom. Just take it and talk.
What did we do? We read a book about
respect. We read a book about respecting other people.
And who else?
Ourselves.
And ourselves.
I knew that. I didn't even read the book.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Good
So that's good. How was it? Was the book good?
Yeah.
Was it? What did you do? What's around your neck?
We made malas.
Oh, it's a mala. Where does mala come from? Do you know?
India.
India.
I can hear her.
We did talk about it. We did talk about it. But how many are on there?
88.
88. And 88 stands for?
88 stands for
Double infinity.
Yeah, it's a passion number. And then what is each bead?
You're like, I didn't learn that yet.
What does each bead mean? What is it for you?
Something that you're grateful for.
Each bead. That's exactly right.
You know what I love, Lexi? You are the wildest, loudest kid off of this stage. And she comes up here. Do you have to be spiritual when you come up here?
It's fun. It's interesting.
It's hard, isn't it, to stand in front of all these people with the lights on and getting a microphone handed to you? It is, isn't it?
And
Well,
how brave you are for
you're doing
standing
great.
and doing
I'll
it.
take it back and I'll give you a high five. Thank you. Oh, ministers' kids, they need a lot of therapy after all this. Yeah. So I invite you all to take a deep breath. Perspectives. What is my perspective of life? That it's good. That I'm good in it. That there is something in me that is constantly evolving and growing and changing. Something in me that rolls its river right across my sharpest edges. Clarity, ease, understanding, gratitude. All of the above, and an infinite number of more. So I just say thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for participating in it. Thank you for being part of this beautiful spiritual fellowship. And I know that this day continues to unfold beautifully, perfectly, and that each Thanksgiving is an amazing celebration of gratitude. And I just say yes to that, and I let it be so, and so it is. So I invite you to stand up, and let's just shine a little bit of light. Dancing's allowed. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Come on and let it shine, shine. Shine, shine. Shine, shine. Shine, shine. Everywhere I go, what are we gonna do? I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, what are we gonna do? I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, what are you gonna do, Rachel? I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Come on and let it shine, shine. Shine, shine. Shine, shine. Shine, shine. Now when I greet my brother in peace, what are we gonna do, Ron?
I'm gonna let it shine.
When I greet my sister in peace, what are we gonna do, Rachel?
I'm gonna let it shine.
When I greet this whole world in peace, what are we gonna do? I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Come on and let it shine, shine. Shine, shine. Shine, shine. Shine, shine. Everywhere I go, all around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Don't you know now? All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Come on and let it shine, shine. Shine, shine. Shine, shine. Here we go. Shine, shine. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody.
All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Come on and let it shine, shine. Shine, shine. Shine, shine. Shine, shine.
Mr. Lincoln. There's Michael.